right, I think we can get started. Hi everybody. Welcome to our Ask the Experts about Atlassian Cloud session. Today we're going to be talking about the Atlassian Teamwork Collection. Uh, my name is Robert Haran. I'm a solutions engineer here at Valiantys. I'm joined by Ariel Da Silva and Cody Berenson. If you guys like to introduce yourselves.
Sure. So I'm a delivery manager for Valiantys for the past 3 years, and I mainly work migrations and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Cody?
My name's Cody Berenson. I am a principal consultant here at Valiantys. Just realized my camera's off. I'll work on turning that on here in a second. But I have been working with Atlassian tools for a number of years now. So looking forward to talking more about the Teamwork Collection today. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah. And so we're going to be diving into the Teamwork Collection, what it is, why it matters, and how it really can help you and your teams get the most value from it. Now, this isn't going to be a feature walkthrough. This is really more about talking about how these tools can help your teams align, collaborate, and deliver on the best outcomes and faster. And so we are definitely going to talk through what the collection covers, share some adoption insights from real world experience, and take questions at the end. So this is what we're going to be talking about for the next hour. We're going to be starting by grounding you all on what the Teamwork Collection really includes, and then unpacking all the tools. So Jira, Confluence, Loom, and then the platform layers that really make them work together. Rovo and Guard. And we're going to fish out by focusing on a rollout strategy and change management and some gotchas that we've heard from people in the past. Because in the end, success is really going to be more about how you implement than just what tools you're deploying. But before we jump into that, I think it's really helpful to give everybody an idea of who we are and why we're qualified to talk about this kind of thing. Um, we are a platinum solution partner. We are the #1 Atlassian specialized consulting firm. We are 100% dedicated to Atlassian, and we have very, very deep expertise in implementing the Atlassian system of work across the enterprise. Um, we also are really focused on not just building solutions, but building lasting relationships with our customers and helping them achieve measurable business impact, extending way beyond just technology deployment, but really helping um, build out, processes and empowering people to get the most out of what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. And so we do it through our 4 centers of excellence: the cloud transformation, enterprise service management, DevX, and managed services. And all of these really are help us to just build holistic solutions that get you exactly what you need when you need it. Now, often we start with a cloud transformation because moving and adopting the cloud really gives you access to the most critical tools, especially now with data center being announced end of life. We are really helping everyone adopt the cloud platform because again, it's the most modern. It gives you access to the greatest tools and analytics, and from there we can also help with data and platform governance. Again, DevX, building out top solutions, and using AI to drive your business forward. But um, enough about us. Let's talk about the Teamwork Collection. And Cody, maybe if you don't mind, I'd like to kick this over to you a little bit to talk about what the Teamwork Collection really is in your experience.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert. So the Teamwork Collection is Atlassian's new approach to help kind of bundle core tools together to help build and facilitate teamwork within your teams. So previously, what teams might do is they would select Jira or maybe Confluence. Now we have some other tools that we'll add into that mix here in a minute. And you could kind of piecemeal those out a little bit. Now, the Teamwork Collection, what it does is it combines the core tools that we know help facilitate the best teams collaboration and communication and allow for governance in order for having all those your users to have all those tools available. So without trying to read directly off the slide here, the Teamwork Collection brings your teams together. It gives you great access to Jira, which helps you organize work, Confluence, which helps you capture knowledge and content, Loom, which is an exceptional video recording tool, as we have listed here, humanizes communication. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. And then also combines some of our great new AI features, including Rovo AI, which is a powerful search, chat, automation tool, kind of a multi-purpose tool, but can really help unleash your teams and how your users are able to coordinate work between all the tools. And then in addition, Atlassian Guard, which helps take care of your identity access compliance needs. And we'll break each one of these down a little bit more. But this helps build a single, unified platform in order to allow your teams to unleash their potential and begin working, collectively and help improve your organization. So let's see,
Yeah.
we want to flip. Thank you. Let's talk about those core tools for a moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we should probably start off with Jira, really.
Yeah. So Jira it's a great tool for your teams to use, and think of this as where the work gets done. And so what it allows through really creative UIs is a central hub for where your teams can do their work. And what's nice is now out of the box, you get great options, including your software teams, your IT teams, HR, marketing, and many more. There's a number of different customized templates that you can choose from. You can create your own. The customization is virtually limitless, but allows you to let your team work in a space that will help them be the most successful. Again, as we have listed here, it really does help create visibility into the project or work item progress, what priorities there are, what blockers there are, and allows all of that to be displayed visually through a number of different channels within a project. What's really nice is Jira, well, Atlassian tools, really kind of in a nutshell, are highly customizable. There's so much that you can do with any one of them. Jira, being their flagship, allows for almost limitless creativity. So how you want to configure items, how you want to display work items, how you want your teams to actually work, as we have listed here, whether that's agile boards or lists or calendars or timelines. You can do all of that within a single project. You can build automations to help automate that work and help keep your team focused on what they need to be focused on rather than manual repetitive tasks. And what's really great is it integrates being part of their teamwork collection and really just part of the Atlassian ecosystem. It allows for integration with Confluence and Loom, as we're talking about here with the teamwork collection, but also any of the other Atlassian products that you could be interested in. Say you wanted to use JSM or some of the other dev tools that we have available. All of that integrates seamlessly from one tool to the other. This last line is really it's an understated one, but aligns everyday tasks with larger organization goals. There's functionality built in from the top down to the bottom to allow every user within your organization to see what they need to see in order to make the right decisions. So whether that's high-level goals for the entire organization to align around, or that's the work that's being done by the individual teams, it provides a visual way that they can both coordinate on that work and then be able to execute within set timelines or set moments in order to get that work done and align to those greater organizational goals.
And I think the visuals are really, and when you say understated, I think that's absolutely the case. When I've talked to a lot of people about using Jira on-prem, and people felt, oh, there's so much detail shown. It's so complex. And I think that Jira in the cloud in particular changes that in so many ways, providing, just different visualization options to give
Mhm.
you as little as information as you want on screen or as much. And it's built to have teams work the way that they like to work. And different stakeholders need different types of information. Some simple, some complex. It just makes life so much easier for everyone.
And I think that's the key in what makes Jira as successful as it is that often, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, often you have different teams working at different levels in your organization, maybe from your C-suite at the top to the individual, either scrum teams or just teams that are doing the work. And the way it allows each one to customize the particular needs that they need to accomplish in a way that helps them be successful, it can help your team stay focused on what they need to be focused on, and have that customization to be able to do that in the way that helps them be successful.
Should we move on to Confluence?
The source of truth. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself there. So yeah, Confluence. Looking into that one, it's again a very powerful tool in a very different way. So as we have listed here, knowledge and collaboration with context. Um, when you combine Confluence with Jira, you create a destination for a source of truth. Um, as we have listed here, for decisions, documentations, ideas. The way that Confluence specifically has grown in recent years, and how well it can integrate within Jira, and you can create pages from, in essence, outside of Jira and build that. You can have your work items in Jira. You can talk about the things that need to get done, and then you can link in the knowledge from Confluence in order to allow your users to have the context they need in order to make the decisions to, again, continue to allow the work to be done. One thing that I'm sure we'll mention throughout this entire presentation today is the use of smart links around Jira. And so the ability to, whether that's to paste or link a Confluence page directly to a Jira issue, or to take that Jira issue and put it into a Confluence page. The use of smart links in order to do all of that just helps bring so much more visibility to whichever side you're going on, whether you're bringing that information over to Confluence or Confluence over to Jira. It allows for such great visibility into what that is. So that way you don't have to necessarily keep multiple tabs open and switch back and forth between tools. And so the ability to link these two together has been a huge focus for Atlassian. And you're seeing that now in the way that you can, whether that's you're keeping track of work, you can build out your backlog straight from Confluence and import them into Jira. There's countless use cases here, but there's some really powerful tools or connections working between these tools. The other thing is that there's a continual development around, as we have living documentation, the ability to not only edit, pages in real time and in a collaborative way. You can have multiple users making edits on Confluence pages. They're now introducing a new aspect to that tool, which is live pages, which are something that users can collaborate on live all the time. So a lot of great development being put into Confluence, and the ability just to keep track of the knowledge and the information that you need in order to help those make decisions. With that, jumping into the next point here, the participation aspect, anybody, as long as obviously permissions are met, anybody can contribute or comment on pages and have the ability to participate or share or add additional context, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The ability to collaborate on Confluence pages is fantastic. And so it's a great way to allow your variety of users that may be consuming that information to be able to add to that in a way. One other piece I would share that's really great about Confluence and is when we're talking about working collaboratively, there's a lot of different tools that goes into that. So whether that's kind of for lack of a better term, a white paper or a blog post, or like I've talked about, some of the live pages to allow collaboration. There's also whiteboards, which is a great way to visually display whether you need to add post-it notes to a page and flesh out ideas or draw diagrams. Whiteboarding is a great tool that's available in Confluence, which also can be integrated into your Jira issues on the Jira side. And so again, the level of collaboration between all of these tools to talk and integrate well with one another builds on this teamwork foundation that we're presenting on today. So that way you can have the right information to your team members at the right times, or at least give them easy access to it.
Yeah, and sorry, guys. I believe that the permissions and the visibility is also a good thing to bring up because, for example, in Confluence you have the whole level of permission interaction. Like you can have your space and then have some pages that are open to everyone, but some pages that are open only to your team or only to specific users or to C-level or that kind of stuff. But also, if you connect both applications, like if you have a list of Jira tickets on your Confluence page, but a user doesn't really have access to see those tickets in Jira, he's not going to be seeing those in Confluence as well. So
Mhm.
there's no leakage of information. There's no way people will be seeing things that they shouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to be talking about permissions a little bit more when we talk about guard and how this all works together. But the permissioning really is the heart of all of this, and everything's built on being able to see what you need, when you need, but also being able to restrict what people shouldn't be able to see. And lastly, in the collection is Loom. And this is where we're really going to be able to humanize I can't even speak. I need to humanize my own communication. Humanize communication between teams. And I think one of the greatest pieces about this is that just as it says, it's all about showing, not telling. Being able to give people context on demand, not having to rely on meetings all the time. But if you just have something you want to share with your team, you do so right away. Get it to them, get feedback, keep working. You could, and as was mentioned before, the cloud is built to use smart linking. So, if you've got Jira tickets that you want in Confluence, you can embed them right there, get your work done. If you've got Confluence pieces that you need in Jira or Trello or anywhere else, this is a seamless platform. All these pieces work together. And with Loom, you can embed your videos right into Jira and Confluence and give people that context they need. So somebody's working on a bug and they've got a video that shows exactly how to reproduce that bug. Your engineers are going to know have all the information they need right at their fingertips without having to call somebody up and say, "Hey, how'd you break this thing? What do I need to do to fix it?" Um, it really just helps to build a stronger understanding across all of your teams and just makes, especially complex updates so much easier to digest and revisit. Yeah.
I'd adding to that, Loom was one of those tools when it was initially introduced. It was kind of a new concept for me specifically. Um, and so I was struggling to figure out how to use it. But I think one of the ways that's been incredibly helpful is well, one of two ways I'll mention is, when you reach out to somebody and say, "Hey, do you have a quick second?" or "Can we have a quick meeting?" Um, this can quite literally be a replacement for that. So it's a quick way to, if you need to display something, you can share your screen and present on the video. And so you can create a quick video, either explain your problem. "Hey, I've run into this issue. I don't know how to solve it. Can you help me?" That way you're in, whomever you're sending it to has the ability to look at that at their own time and then respond back to you. Or if say you want to teach someone how to do something, they then have a video that they have access to that they can look at as many or as few times as they need to in order to maybe help them through a problem. And so a way to allow people to continue to work asynchronously, but also have that visual component. So that way they can, gather that, humanized communication here. You can see the person that you're working with and have them help guide you through it. It can be really powerful. Another great way that I've been able to utilize this, which I think it's been really great, is that just attaching, training. If you need to do any kind of a training, we were talking about Confluence earlier, and you can record either a short video or a relatively long one. You can record that, go through your training, and then upload that to a Confluence page, and then that will be there for anybody to see on that page that has access. And so there's some really great uses of Loom, and I think that ones that can really help individuals in your organization have the ability to work with others, even on a, say on an enterprise scale, people that may not be geographically, located near each other, but still have that ability to feel like they're interacting with someone directly in the organization and really bridge that gap between, the largely remote workforce that we have today and still feel like they're working directly with their individuals. So really powerful tool, and incorporating it into the teamwork collection. Um, I think adds to the overarching goal here, which is how do we bring your teams together? How do we allow them to work in their maybe their own ways? How do we unleash them to meet the overall objectives that we have? So
Yeah,
really neat tool.
and I'll tell you, as from a pre-sales perspective, I get on a lot of calls with customers where I'm trying to understand, what their requirements are, scope out potential engagements, and just see how best we can help out. And by adding the Loom recorder in, I can be a lot more present. I don't have to be
Mhm.
furiously scribbling down notes or, having to keep up with things. I can just listen and understand, and then I'll go back to a transcript, and and then I can piece out exactly, what do I need. But the other thing is that Loom also has AI functionality to kind of pull out the most important pieces of the call. So through the recap, I can get just what I need. I can go to the transcript to get all the details, and then you can port that over to Confluence. And then from there, you can do all sorts of pieces with it. You can use Rovo to search across your meetings. You can use agents to kind of build out documentation. Uh, I mean, once you have that in place, the possibilities are really endless. And that actually is a great segue over to Rovo. Um, and Cody, I know you probably have a lot that you could probably talk about with this.
Yeah. So yeah, Rovo is it's been amazing to watch Rovo kind of grow. So as the AI is incorporating itself everywhere, Rovo is Atlassian's answer to that. And so what this does, as we have listed here, bringing intelligence into the flow of work. And when you're looking at having tools that can grow as rapidly and develop so much content and so many pieces of information so quickly between Jira and Confluence, Rovo is a way to bring all of that back together. And so it's got in essence, kind of think of that deep search functionality. So it provides a single source in order to search for issues across your entire platform. So that way you can get access to what you need when you need it, rather than having to look back at dates or try to think what the title of a page was. This can help you find it. And a key point to bring up is it does, as Rovo, we've talked about Jira and Confluence, it also unifies that search within Loom. With that information that your organization is provided via Loom, it can reach into there to help get your users the information that they need to help them do their work. So what's really nice is it's context aware, as we have listed here. So if you don't remember the exact name of the article you want, you can give it a couple keywords and it will give you a list of options that you can then choose from. And you say, okay, this was what I was looking for. And you can find that. And so the ability to search across all those platforms, whether that's Jira, Confluence, Loom, any of the other Atlassian tools you may be interested in, it helps bring all of that information to your users' fingertips. Another aspect of it that is really pretty powerful is the ability to use it to help give you information faster. So, a couple of examples here. In your projects that you have, what changed in the sprint?
Mm.
Summarize this incident. Find similar projects. So, as you're looking for the information that is most important to you in that moment, you can use these tools to help you work faster and more efficiently. Um, I know some other members, I think Ariel's had some experience with this here recently. Trying to summarize Rovo into a few short minutes is a little bit tough, actually. But you have the ability to set up Rovo agents. So you can create AI guided agents, and you can allow them to automate recurring tasks, reporting, what have you. Now, keep in mind, this is at the premium or enterprise level. But the ability to set up agents to do a variety of work, there is so much functionality available behind this. It's hard to really summarize. Ariel, I think you've got a great example though,
Yeah, sure.
that you could share. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Okay. So we had a customer that they had a lot of filtering with automations that they did to set up their tickets in the right place. Like they had fields that, depending on the values, they would fill up other fields and then sum them up and set priorities. Like we were able to create from 3 or 4 automations that they had. We turned all of that into one Rovo agent with one specific prompt that would do all of that at the same time. So they were able to save on automations and make everything happen way faster than like waiting 3, 4, 5 seconds for all the automations to run. It was just one thing running at one time and it would do everything. But I've also seen things like, for example, you create an agent that checks uh, every time a ticket is linked to see if there are other tickets that fill the same criteria of linking, like that you might want to link them together as well. And it adds a comment and tags you saying, "Yo, I believe this might be related. Do you want to check this out and add as a link as well?"
I think we might have lost you for a moment. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, can you guys hear me?
I
Yeah,
can, yes.
What did you guys hear by the end?
it was just the
Sorry.
very last part.
Very last
Okay.
part, and then all of a sudden it seemed to cut out. The audio just seemed to drop.
Oh, sorry. So the last thing I did with Rovo was that we created an automation that checks every time an issue is linked, and then it goes over Jira and see if there are other tickets that have the same idea of linkage. Okay, for example, you have an issue with your phone and it's related to your email, and then you link with a problem that's happening with the email, but for the agent, it checks, oh, is the assignee an agent? Okay, so let's go into problems with emails that happened before and get that problem linked automatically, or create a comment and say, oh, agent, check this ticket here because it might be related. We can do
Hmm.
all of that with Rovo.
It's a really neat tool to watch it work, and the way you can use it to again help with that automation aspect. If you um, I know we mentioned the agents, but if you're looking for, project summaries and you need pages created in Confluence, or vice versa, you're creating work in Confluence and you need to create issues over in Jira, rather than doing all of the in between the two separate tools, Rovo can help you connect that. So that way you can generate, either maybe I've seen examples of building a backlog in a Confluence based on getting your ideas listed. You can just shoot those issues directly over to Jira and get those made without having to duplicate work. Or vice versa, if you have a project and you need it to summarize, issues, hey, create this page over in Confluence and build all that information out for me. Um, Really powerful stuff as we, move into a time where, we're all looking in ways that we can try to save time. Um, this is one of the ways that can help reduce some of that manual effort between working, amongst tools as we're trying to keep track of our work in Jira and, maintain our source of truth in Confluence. However, your teams might be utilizing those to give them the most efficiency. Rovo can help do that, and then also help search all of that.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
And I know this isn't technically part of the collection, but I think it's really important to talk about Guard and how Guard provides enterprise grade security and governance. Um, because this is really the connective tissue that's going to keep your cloud site secure and it just, it handles, who can log in. Depending on how you configure it, you can configure it to determine what people see, where your data lives. Um, Really, it's the kind of thing that shouldn't be thought of as a barrier, but it's the foundation for safe, scalable collaboration. Um, you know, this allows you to innovate really confidently, knowing that both your identity and your data is secure. Um, and for enterprises, one, if you have an enterprise plan, Guard is included automatically. But for everyone else, you can just add that subscription ad hoc. But regardless if you're an enterprise or a small business, no matter what, this is going to mean fewer admin silos. It's going to be faster, give you faster authentication and onboarding using SCIM. You're going to get automatic alignment with your safety standards. It doesn't just protect your access. It really gives you confidence that every feature, every integration, everything's working within clear governance boundaries. And it's kind of a policy and trust layer. It underpins the collaboration and compliance and just your intelligent automation across your platform. And I don't know if you guys have had any experiences with teams that have adopted it or any best practices, but you know, I've worked with a lot of teams that one been able to get rid of a lot of third-party apps, third-party SSO and user management apps, and once they've gone to Guard, it's been so much easier to claim domains and get people in and just seamlessly set up SSO.
In cloud migrations, it's something that we normally see in data center. People had uh, apps they had to pay for that did single sign-on and integrations, that kind of stuff. And then
Mm.
in cloud, Guard does everything for them. They can just stop paying for those.
Yeah, and I bring it up especially when we're thinking about how Guard and Rovo kind of work together. They really are here to complement each other. Rovo is going to deliver your AI-driven insights, and Guard is going to define the secure boundaries that it operates in. And really, together, they kind of make they not kind of they really do make Atlassian's platform just much more intelligent, much more trustworthy, providing you with great searches, smart automation, everything you need without risk of overexposure. And this allows you to adopt AI responsibly. Scaling up, scaling collaboration without the fear of losing access control. And so, Ariel, the piece that you were touching on before, did that integrate with Garden anyway?
Which one? Sorry.
So your
Hmm.
example about using Rovo.
Uh, it it does on the way that Guard handles the whole access thing between both apps. Because, for example, uh, you through Guard and the global configuration, you can manage who accesses each app. So Rovo will need to, like the Rovo prompt needs to take into consideration the accesses that people have before generating any results, because it might generate results with info that people can't see. Like it won't break uh, the the security thing. It will just give something that it's missing an information for the person that's reading, but the person that has the final privileges will be able to see the whole result. So it's just something that the engineer needs to take into consideration when he's building the Rovo agent prompt, that this is something that's going to be there as well. It's all in the background running. So Guard does the permissions, Rovo checks everything at the same time. The result will take all of that into consideration.
So really, it's all about how you roll things out and just making sure that you're configured so that you can get the most out of your tools. Is that,
Exactly.
and I say
That
that because I
that's
kind of
where
want
we
to,
come in.
yep. And I kind of wanted to segue over to the rollout and best practices. Um, because it's not just about tools. It's not just, having the best toys, but how to use them and building better work habits. And so the first thing I want to talk about is building it up with a very, very clear foundation. Um, the most successful implementations are really going to start with focus. Not trying to get to the end right away, but identifying one or two really, really high impact use cases. Maybe improving project visibility in Jira or documenting team alignment in Confluence. The idea is to kind of roll the tools out in phases. Maybe get one piece right, get those quick wins in, and then start layering in other phases as well. And every piece of your rollout should be purpose built to instill confidence, build adoption, establish tool champions really that can guide your other teams, people who can essentially lead the growth with others as well. So don't think about it like you're just switching the tools on. Think about it like a staircase, and every step is going to strengthen your adoption and build up, the confidence, build up governance, and then you just keep rolling forward. Um, but it's really important to when you build up, you've got your champions, you really want to help guide people through the shift. And this is going to be important to communicate not just how you're getting things done, but why. Success is always going to come from helping people understand why these changes matter, how these make their jobs easier. Um, and not just about that, but also celebrating your successes. Um, make these things known, communicate it to your team, and you know what? Use Loom to start training people. Replace your heavy, enablement sessions and training with sometimes just short form content in Confluence, short form video in Loom, maybe 2-minute videos, some quick tips, build out some templates. The idea is to not only make people feel empowered, but make it so that the learning curve isn't so steep. Um, because in the end, change is human. It's only going to be sustainable when, people feel comfortable with what they've got. And, change management's not about resistance. It's about, giving people context, giving people meaning. And everyone's going to adopt tools when they see a personal benefit. Everybody loves the idea of a couple of fewer meetings, a little few minutes back in their day, understanding what they're supposed to be doing, not having to feel like they're duplicating work. Um, all these pieces are really important. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to dominate this, but I just kind of
Mhm.
I get on this soapbox and it's really important to me.
No, I couldn't agree more, Robert. I mean, so as we, often guide our clients through whatever change they're looking for, whether it's just general support or a migration or an implementation, um, the change management piece, the ability to not only manage maybe your users' expectations, but as far as build out a solid plan that makes sense and helps people adopt it that much faster and more effectively is really crucial. I think we've all seen whether it was with Atlassian tools or with something else. The minute there's a new tool that's rolled out and it's the marching orders are, oh, we've got to start using this. It's great and this is going to help us so much. But with limited guidance, it's kind of set up to fail. And so in the part of whether you have say Jira and or Confluence, or maybe you're looking at Loom, or you're just looking to start all of these with your organization. Um, really take a good, strong look at the change management plan. I mean, Robert did a great job speaking to it through a couple of slides here, and the importance of starting small and trying to build on that and build your champions and start to grow it. And I'd say we've all seen organizations that have been on, Atlassian products, Jira and Confluence probably specifically, um, for a number of years, and you can see just how ingrained those users are into using the tool. Um, Not too long ago, I talked to somebody that was recently in an organization with Jira and Confluence, and they didn't quite understand how to use those tools as opposed to what they were used to, which was, hopping on, maybe a meeting and working through Excel and Word, and emails and through that kind of approach. And once they started to understand that you can log into one place, you can communicate through that tool, you can build your context through that tool, you can do much of the same functionality through that and build out plans and understand timelines. They quickly came around to, okay, now I see the value in using all of these pieces. And so, at first it can view as, maybe a big change, but once they kind of start to dip their toe into it, it can become very valuable very quickly for people to see how important adopting to these tools can be and how much easier it can make their day-to-day work life.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that end, I also want to talk about how we can balance, these tools are fantastic. And as you mentioned earlier, one of the best things about them is their flexibility, the configurability. And I'll tell you, one of the things I tell people a lot of time is the best part about the Atlassian tools is they're infinitely customizable. And then one of the worst things about the tools is that they're infinitely customizable. It's really easy to administer yourself into a corner by making things too complex or trying everything and not really developing standards. And having standards in these tools is just incredibly important just to be able to use them, one in a way that everybody's on board with, but also so that you're not trying to remember 50 different things when you're administering the tools. And good governance really shouldn't feel like bureaucracy, I would think. It's not about control, but again, it's about consistency. Um, governance is going to be that scaffolding that's going to keep all of your collaborations structured as you scale. But just as with anything else, there's a double-edged sword. You don't want to tighten the leash on everyone. You want to just have enough structure, say maybe templates or naming standards, permission schemes, whatever you need to just kind of keep order and keep things in check. As adoption grows, to just make it so that everybody's working the same way, getting things done, but also having the flexibility to do things the way that they might need to as well. And so it's great to have a governance team. We recommend having a group of admins that would be establish a governance framework that would meet maybe quarterly, review changes, and then evolve as you do. And of course, also you're going to be using governance using Guard, oof, using Guard to centralize your identity management, your SSO, your auditing controls. Um, but another great piece is even if you don't, you have a core team of admins, you should also empower your champions as well to help people get, use the tools the way that the way that you've set it up and that ensures success. And this is an area where as we help people migrate from DC to cloud, and Cody, I know you're involved with this because I've been on the meetings with you, helping people through change management and adopting the tools. Um, it's sometimes a challenge, but it's a great opportunity to get everybody on board together.
Mhm. I think one of the when speaking of governance, it can be kind of a hard concept to grasp. But Robert, you're doing a great job of running through it. But I found that in working with various clients, some you know a user comes to them with a change, and it's very much a okay, yeah, we'll take care of that. And other organizations, it's we can do this, but maybe we can't do that, and here's the reason why, and adhering to what that overall governance looks like. And when it comes from a place of allowing your users to understand ways of working, no matter where they're at in the instance, if they need to help on a new project or maybe in a different division, or depending on how you have it set up, maintaining, as Robert said, consistency. That's really the key as far as how generally the operations work in these projects will help reduce the amount of time that those users have to maybe seek other people out to gain understanding, or time lost in just trying to get work moving if they're not necessarily used to a different department's ways of doing things. And so having standardized naming conventions helps everybody. Having templates for projects helps users be able to understand how work progresses in any given project or team they might be working in. um, it's all very, very critical, but it's one of those that it does require um, having the ability to understand those requests, take them under consideration, knowing how to implement them, and how to not necessarily limit the growth of your teams, but find the right solutions to maintain the growth of your organization. And so in working with a couple clients that have specifically reached out around governance, I've seen some really great practices in place that help facilitate that, and it keeps the configuration end on the admin side lower, so less for them to have to try to either wade through or fix, or know where to go to fix problems. As I mentioned earlier, just helping users know more of what to expect, no matter where they're working in the instance. And so talking about it at a very high level, find that right group of people, especially if you're, as we've mentioned, if you're rolling out and you're starting and small steps, and you're just rolling things out at a low level, and include those feedback loops. Develop your governance early and make sure you don't want it to be too big, that you've got too many people involved, but have that right amount of, your Jira who's going to be managing Jira, maybe your InfoSec teams, your compliance teams, depending on, how you're planning on using your Atlassian products, and just have a small sample size. So that way you have the ability to align organizationally on what requests are coming in and how do we want to continue to scale our use of this tool with our organization.
Yeah. And so I think we probably talked about this already, but beyond going live, governance standards, establishing champions, all of these are really going to be needed to keep that momentum. Because the adoption is not going to be just one time. That's why I said it's not just like flipping a switch, but it's like going upstairs. This is going to be ongoing. And it's really important to keep that momentum going and keep that enthusiasm going by, sharing. Sharing wins is so absolutely important. Staying in communication with the team is just really critical, especially with distributed teams who might feel a little disconnected. Listening to their feedback, measuring impact, letting people know what's working, accepting feedback for what's not. Um, all of this is going to be absolutely critical just to keep that momentum going beyond just that go live date. Um, and to do that, encouraging, cross team sharing, building a culture of learning is absolutely going to be key to this success. Setting up internal showcases, uh, setting up success stories, getting peer-led sessions. Ultimately, again, it's not about just the tools. It's about collaboration. It's about building better outcomes and letting people know what those are. Um, Measure your success by how much smoother things are. Let people know where you've saved time, um, or where you were able to get things done that you weren't able to before. Um, we've already heard examples about uh, how automation and Rovo have made people's lives easier. Smart linking just provides you that context that you need. Uh, Again, all of this is about, taking work, not making the tool what, you know, what you do, but how you can get things done. Um, I'm sorry. Again, I get on a soapbox because like all these making life better and transforming to a more modern platform is kind of what I get passionate about sometimes. But I say that because the piece that I think a lot of people don't think about is pitfalls. And every transformation is going to have bumps. Um, and we don't have to go through all these. You know, this is going to be on YouTube later if you wanted to have a chance to read through it. But these are some of the pieces that we've seen and heard most frequently. A lot of times it comes down to people trying to do too many things too quickly, overcomplicating their instance or adding too many pieces to their governance, making things too restrictive, fairly, not communicating why things are done. And really the antidote to all of this is simplicity and being open to feedback. Starting small, getting those quick wins and just scaling organically. Um, I don't know, Cody or Ariel, if you agree, but I would say that like the organizations that win the most aren't the ones that just, install the tools and go, but like these are the people
Yeah.
that treat it like a conversation, not so much a mandate.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that can be, overstated enough. Um, Sorry, to collect my thoughts. I've seen through various engagements I've worked on, not necessarily a rollout of something like the Teamwork Collection, but when the expectation is, oh, here it is, we just got to get going with it. And it's kind of a setup to fail kind of moment because there's not maybe the proper training or time spent with the users in order to try to get them, up to speed in a viable way to be able to get the most out of the tool. And it turns into something that can be very overwhelming, um, for people at all kinds of different levels within the organization, of how to use it, how to use it effectively. And so, I'm working on a migration right now with a client who's developed probably one of the more robust communication plans that I've seen for a migration, and it's great. It helps those users be prepared, so that way, whenever they change from using, DC to cloud, for example, they know exactly what to expect when they have the cloud. They've developed a great training curriculum. That's just one example, but for something like this, the amount, there's a ton of content out there for Atlassian products, but the understanding at all organizational levels, if you're looking to roll out a tool that can be as customized as this, is to understand, let's start small and let's grow big, and know, hey, this is where we want our teams to focus on at first. And as we've mentioned before, you'll develop those champions. You'll find those users that are starting to understand more and more and more, and they become your champions to help bring others along, and you'll see that adoption grow. But unfortunately, I have seen that top pitfall a couple different times in a couple different ways. Um, I think there's a lot that we could speak to on this slide. Um, but the other thing that really stands out to me is the understanding and as we have it listed here, skipping the feedback loops, but really gathering that feedback along the way. So whether that's understanding that, hey, we need more training, or maybe we need less training, or hey, maybe we need to target our training over here or help users over there, making sure that there's a focus on those using the tool and helping them get what they need. I think that is what can really help guarantee success.
Yeah. I know we're getting a little close to time here. So I think we should dive into some of the questions that we've got. Um one of the questions we've got is how can business teams actually use Jira without it feeling too technical? And I think we get this question a lot because in when Jira was first built many, many years ago, I think it was just built as a bug tracker. And so over the years, it's become synonymous with software development and agile project management. And a lot of people felt that it was just for developers. Um, over time, that Atlassian's put in a ton of work to change that out by building out Jira Service Management or for ITSM teams. Um, they had built out what used to be called Jira Work Management, which is now folded into Jira directly, so that business teams like HR and finance and marketing and operations can get their work done in the way they need to. Using I don't want to say simplified templates, but purpose-built templates um, that help them with familiar views like lists and calendars and timelines. And combine those with forms as well. You have really, really easy intake. You've got automation that could be used to just reduce that repetitive work. And so every team really can adopt the tooling without having to worry about learning agile, learning safe, learning about DevX. Everybody can use this to get work done. Mm. I
And there's
see.
a lot of it.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, the cross product function, or the cross team functionality. I mean, we're seeing, you can, and the tools, you can see they're developing templates based around, marketing and HR and, um, other departments within organizations that would previously have not been explored. And so the way you can link that information together with onboarding and, some of the other aspects of the tooling, it's really, really exciting to see the way that just the out of the box functionality is growing too, to help that too, Robert.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing to see where Jira is now versus where it used to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, man, when I started out with the tool back in Jira 3, oof, it was painful. Some of the administration was truly painful, and now the what you see is what you get kind of functionality that's added both not just from a user perspective, but from an admin perspective. It's just so much easier. But
Mhm.
in the cloud, I think one of the things I love the most is the new list view. Like, kind of gives you that Excel-like view of all of your work items. It just makes it so much easier and so much nicer to work
Mhm.
in. Um, Another question that came in, and probably tied to what we were talking about with forms. How do forms and automation help non-technical teams in Jira? Um, Anybody who's used to Jira Service Management knows that you're able to use requests to build out request forms to intake new tickets. But for the rest of Jira, Jira has now introduced forms that allow you to build out structured, really user-friendly intake forms. So that way, say for example, I don't know, an HR team might have a form for onboarding or for job requisitions, and then you could use automation. Once that ticket comes in, automation can be used to kind of route things over to the right person, maybe build out some additional tasks or send reminders, update statuses, do a lot of the busy work that you might have needed to do otherwise. And one, it just frees up your time. It lets you focus on your core business, but it also reduces, I think, a lot of the training time that's needed, a lot of the onboarding, and most importantly, it helps keep things consistent, especially for non-technical users who don't want to have to deal with a lot of configuration. There could be a lot of set and forget. Between the forms and automation, once it's set, your business teams could just get in, start using it, and just make it a tool, not, their focus for the day. And I apologize. I know we are just about done. Before we leave, I do want to mention that in just about 2 months, maybe just under, we are going to have another session, The Power of Automation. It's going to be on December 11th at 2 o'clock. Same bat time, same bat channel. So I think
We've
that's
got a
it for me.
question from Amanda in there, Robert.
Oh, there is. I apologize. I missed it. I'm so sorry. Give me one moment. Actually, if you could read that out, that would be great because I'm not able to see it.
Oh, sorry, she raised her hand. Amanda, are you able to unmute? You're welcome to ask away.
Hi, thank you.
Hi, Amanda.
Hey, so I've been working in Jira for quite a while since my company has adopted it, and I was wondering for the AI agent, will there be a time where you'll decide to incorporate, we use a lot of the forms, those message boxes or drop downs into the CHS companion so our users can use everything in the chat window?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I understand the question fully. What were you trying to do?
Yeah. So the Atlassian, the auto agent or the chat bot, I guess would be the common term for it.
Okay.
Is there going to be a time when you all incorporate the form? So right now I have a lot of forms built into our instance. And when I put those into the chat bot, it routes the users to the forum, but I would like for them to be able to enter those forum responses, which in the native fields in the ticket they can, and we can gather that, but they can't for
Mm.
forum fields. So I don't know if that's just a limitation of the forum or if that'll ever be incorporated.
Yeah,
For
Cody,
one,
I'm
I
not sure
love
if,
how
yeah.
yeah, for one, I love how detailed you're using this already. That's a good question. As far as some of the limitations around Ariel, I don't know. You've probably done more work with the AI agents than I have. Are you familiar with that one? Amanda, we may have to take
Yeah,
that one offline and we can certainly circle back to you. See what
yeah,
we can find out from Atlassian.
yeah, I can, by experience, I know that they have been increasing the ability of using form fields because form fields are a very different kind
Mhm.
of information inside of Jira. They go into issue properties, so it's a bit different. I know they are working on adding way more information on how to use form fields on everything, not just the AI bots and the Rovo agents and that kind of stuff. but there are two levels there. They're still working on using form fields, and then there's the integration of the form itself on the chatbot. So even if they are working on this, it's probably a big timeline that we should be expecting.
That's a fair answer. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Does anyone else have any questions? I'm so sorry, Amanda, that I didn't see your hand raised before.
That's all right.
All right. As always, if you ever needed anything, please feel free to reach out. Again, we're going to be doing another session in 2 months, and this will be available for you to view on YouTube anytime you'd like. So again, thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.